Today we are working Psalm 45. Some traditional magical uses for Psalm 45 include a happy marriage, to improve one's speaking abilities, for faith in your magic, and to bring power to your voice. Today I would like to work Psalm 45 to increase your magical potency. The way we work psalm magic is simple, easy, and effective. We take the psalm that we're working and we speak it out loud all the way through once without stopping. This is called an incantation. After we finish that, we go back through the psalm and we consider each verse one at a time. We search for hidden, often called occult, meanings that lie within each verse. As we search, dig, and uncover those magic seeds of wisdom, we do our best to apply whatever it is that we find to the situation that we've brought to the psalm. By doing all of this, we are dislodging magic seeds from the psalm and planting them in the depths of our mind, where they take root. They grow, they blossom forth, and they bear fruit after their kind. And that's exactly what you and I are going to do together right now with Psalm 45. My heart is inditing a good matter. I speak of the things which I have made touching the king. My tongue is the pen of a ready writer. Gird thy sword upon thy thigh, O most mighty, with thy glory and thy majesty. And in thy majesty ride prosperously, because of truth and meekness and righteousness, and thy right hand shall teach thee terrible things. Thine arrows are sharp in the heart of the king's enemies, whereby the people fall under thee. Thy throne, O God, is forever and ever. The scepter of thy king is a right scepter. Thou lovest righteousness and hatest wickedness. Therefore God, thy God, hath anointed thee with the oil of gladness above thy fellows. All of thy garments smell of myrrh and aloes and cassia, out of the ivory palaces whereby they have made thee glad. King's daughters were among thy honorable women. Upon thy right hand did stand the queen in gold of Ophir. Hearken, O daughter, and consider and incline thine ear. Forget also thine own people and thy father's house. So shall the king greatly desire thy beauty, for he is the Lord, and worship thou him. And the daughter of Tyre shall be there with a gift. Even the rich among the people shall entreat thy favor. The king's daughter is all glorious within, her clothing is of wrought gold. She shall be brought unto the king in raiment of needlework. The virgins, her companions that follow her, shall be brought unto thee. With gladness and rejoicing shall they be brought. They shall enter into the king's palace. Instead of thy fathers shall be thy children, whom thou mayest make princes in all the earth. I will make thy name to be remembered in all generations. Therefore shall the people praise thee forever and ever. This is an odd psalm. It doesn't ever call upon the infinite. There's no invocation. It's all about a king being coronated and his queen. And the way that they speak of the king in this psalm is as if he was a god. In fact, he even is called God. And that's so antithetical to the ancient Hebraic way of being that it's my personal belief that this is a psalm that probably came from Egypt. I have no evidence for this. It just seems Egyptian to me. My heart is inditing a good matter. I speak of the things which I have made touching the king. My tongue is the pen of a ready writer. This is the bard speaking, and the bard is telling us of this coronation, this king. Even the opening is very different from any other psalm. Thou art fairer than the children of men. Grace is poured into thy lips, therefore God hath blessed thee forever. So let's look at the king as being you, the male part of you, the masculine part of you. The masculine part of your mind is the deciding part of the mind. It's the mind that makes choices. We are orienting the psalm to increase your magical potency. When you decide that you want something, it is the deciding part of the mind that sets things into action. It's the fire of the magical formula of the four elements, fire, then water, then air, then earth. It's the decision that's being made. When we think in terms of the Hermetic order of creation, fire and water happen simultaneously. because in three-dimensional reality, we have to have the opposite appear. So fire comes forth, and simultaneously its opposite also is apparent. Fire being the king in this regard, and the water being the queen. So this is your ability to decide what you want. This is your will. The king represents your magical will. Gird thy sword upon thy thigh, O most mighty, with thy glory and thy majesty. So the sword that is girded on your thigh is another representation of your will, your decision. It's important when we're working magic that we assume this understanding of, yes, I'm the monarch, exerting my magical will. And in thy majesty ride prosperously, because of truth and meekness and righteousness, and thy right hand shall teach thee terrible things. The right hand is the hand that wields the sword. What you do with your will is going to teach you about yourself and is going to teach you about the wisdom of whatever it is that you willed, because your power is so great that what you're willing is going to come about. And so you're going to have the outcome that you desire, and that's going to teach you about your desires. And sometimes the worst thing that can happen to us is we get what we want. But since we are asking for magical potency, we will get what we desire. We will get what it is that we decide to get. And so therefore we are being guided to desire with wisdom. Our will is going to teach us terrible things. Terrible not necessarily meaning bad, but powerful things. Thine arrows are sharp in the heart of the king's enemies, whereby the people fall under thee. So you, as a magical force, are a force to be reckoned with. And it's important that you receive this understanding. The bard is speaking of you. You must receive this understanding. Frequently, the problem when we are working effective magic is that we have to become so exalted in our own ability to have our willpower be so strong that if you don't allow yourself to then have humility, it can turn into a big ego game. And that's not what we want. But right now, we are allowing ourselves to experience who we are as the king, who we are as the monarch, who we are as the powerful person. Thy throne, O God, is forever and ever. The scepter of thy kingdom is a right scepter. This is another place wherein I don't believe this came from the Hebraic people. They would never call their king a god, but the Egyptians sure would. But it's good for us to understand that, yes, you are a god in your own kingdom, an expression and an extension of God. The one power, the one source, the one force in all of the universe wants you to be a god, wants you to express your power. This is you claiming your righteous will. Thou lovest righteousness and hatest wickedness. Therefore God thy God hath anointed thee with the oil of gladness above thy fellows. This is the first time God itself, as the creator, has really been spoken of. And this is talking about how God wills for you, as the king, as the monarch, to be powerful, to have your will come about. And you've been anointed with oil. When you're anointed, that means you're consecrated. You are initiated. You are a powerful magus. All thy garments smell of myrrh and aloes and cassia, out of the ivory palaces whereby they have made thee glad. Your ivory palaces is where you as a monarch dwell. The fragrances here, the myrrh, aloes, and cassia, those are very fine fragrances, especially back in these days. They were very expensive. Your fragrance, your aura, is exalted. It's powerful and beneficent. King's daughters were among thy honorable women. Upon thy right hand did stand the queen in gold of Ophir. Okay, now we're talking about the queen. And the queen is the receptive, deep mind. It's the part of the mind that actually does the magic. The king part of the mind is the decider. It's the will. But it's the chalice, the water, is the one that creates whatever it is that we desire. It's the womb. It's the dark room, the mystery. It's the unseen, the hidden, and the dark. Hearken, O daughter, and consider and incline thine ear. Forget also thine own people and thy father's house. In this psalm, the queen obviously is coming from a different people. She's not part of this community. So she is being invited in, and they want her to be part of their community now, not a part of her former community. And what this symbolizes for us here is that the goddess is always a mystery to us. The feminine is always going to be a mystery to us. We are never able to see what happens in the dark room. We're never able to see what's happening in the womb or underground when things are germinating. It's always a mystery, and it must remain a mystery. And that's why when we are finished casting a spell, it's imperative that we put it out of mind and let the mystery take over. So shall the king greatly desire thy beauty, for he is thy Lord, and worship thou him. Now they worship each other. That's what this partnership does. The king worships her, she worships him, and together they create your desire. Those are two parts of your mind: the conscious mind, the willful mind, and the unconscious, the fire and the water. And the daughter of Tyre shall be there with a gift. Even the rich among the people shall entreat thy favor. Now, what happens is when the fire and the water combine, they interact with one another and they create the third element, which is air. So if you think of a pot of water being put on a flame, it boils and then becomes steam. And that's what is being described here as the daughter of Tyre shall be there with a gift. Even the rich among the people shall entreat thy favor. The king's daughter is all glorious within. Her clothing is of wrought gold. The daughter is the air element here that is the alchemical interaction that creates whatever it is that you're willing. So the fire, the water, the air. She shall be brought into the king in raiment of needlework. The virgins, her companions that follow her, shall be brought unto thee. You don't have to do anything. It's all being done for you. Your will at the beginning of this is all that's necessary. By the time the goddess gets involved, the feminine part of you gets involved, and that third element is born, it's out of your hands. With gladness and rejoicing shall they be brought. They shall enter into the king's palace. When your desire comes about, it will be brought into your palace. Whether it's a money spell, a protection spell, doesn't matter what you're working on. When you allow yourself to follow that formula of fire, water, air, the earth takes care of itself and it will be brought to you. You do not have to go find it. Instead of thy fathers shall be thy children, whom thou mayest make princes in all the earth. And this is the result of the divine marriage. This is the result of your magic, is the children. Instead of thy fathers shall be thy children. These children are then going to be the next generation. What that means magically is that all that you create magically is forever, and it expands and it expands. And that's why it's so important you remember that your will brings a terrible lesson. When we work on manifesting things, that we have to make sure that we want what it is that we say we want, and that we understand that if we say this or something even better according to the highest good of all, then that terrible lesson is always a lesson of joy, that those sons that you create will always be bringing you more joy and bringing everybody more joy, and you're never stuck with that spell that manifested that you just can't get rid of, and why did I even ask for that? I will make thy name to be remembered in all generations. Therefore shall the people praise thee forever and ever. Remember, the people are the thoughts in your mind. Also think in terms of the crystallized thoughts of everything in your mind as being your circumstances in your life. All your circumstances, if you think of them as being crystallized thoughts, then you understand that what the people are in these Psalms. And it's saying, I will make thy name to be remembered in all generations. Therefore shall the people praise thee forever and ever. When you have your will focused properly, you work your magic, then your results are going to be something that takes care of you forever and ever. We act as sovereigns, holy sovereigns. I am here as a representative of the infinite that sent me. And that's why when you're working your magic, if you say things such as this or something even better, according to the highest good of all, what you're doing is you're aligning your will with the divine will. Then not only do you not have to worry about problems, but you are ensuring whatever the results are from your magic that you desire, it's not just that result, but they'll beget another result, and they'll beget another result, and that your good expands without you even having to think about it. And that's really good magic. You just keep coming back to this same psalm every day until you get a sense that whatever it is that you brought to this psalm has been accomplished. And once you get that sense of peace and certainty about the matter, you know that your spell has been cast and you can move on to something else. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. Until next time, blessed be.